Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the beautiful circuit of Zolder, and welcome to another round of the ERA Sunday Championship, the place you want to be to see some of the best in the world fighting it out for the championship in Zolder, a circuit that is promising to be full of highs and drama, is now home for our next round. That's going to be what's on the cards here tonight. My name is Stephen Koenig, and welcome to you all. It's going to be an absolutely wonderful, wonderful evening for round 4 of our ERA Sunday Championship, and with the circuit being quite a tight one, proves to be a bit of follow the leader, but don't let the pit lane be the one to catch you out, because before our final left-right, you have to go straight down towards pit lane, so it does get a little bit tricky under braking. As we also take a look at the track map, sector 1 is going to be a little bit of a difficult one. The long double right-hander at the top is going to be a corner to watch out for. The first chicane down our sector 2, and then to Villeneuve chicane, hard braking yet again, slowing everything down. Jackie Xbox will be our final corner, where we see drivers pushing that a little bit harder. Let's talk about the championship as it is. Currently Ronald Priggs, who stands out on top, 34 points, with Arul Jar on 31 points. Finn van Arnhem on 28 points, matching with Matt Gall. Ulrich Diago on 22, with Lewis Knight on 22. Christoph Rolotsky sits on 22 points. Diego Matos on 19. Finley Gamble on 16. And Christian Finger ends up on 12 for our top 10. Moving over to our platinum, it's Ryan Gell on 40 points. Edith Dave Broschke on 32 points. Chris Wall follows up on 30 points. SM Domingo sits on 24, followed by Paul Scaveris on 22 points. Sam Kursat on 20 points. Martin Spritzer on 18, tied with David Ross. 4 points behind them is Daniel Mutzba and Milestone on 13. Now, interesting enough, our Diamond Championship, Ernest Limburgs leads out on 38 points. By getting the fastest lap time of the race, he was able to get that 1 point extra. Christoph Peterson sits in 37th with 37 points in second place. Cole Heinz is on 26 points, matching with Mahath Musa. Sean Skitzer on 22, 2 points ahead of Stephen Milano. James Darius sits on 16. Andre Sorodio tied with Jason Farmer, both on 10 points. And Rern Heidecker chills at the back with 6. That being said, we head down to qualifying as drivers are underway. Rul Jar currently top of the pile, looking to really put in the handiwork for himself. He's got Diego Matos. It didn't have a good time out last race, but has been a proper championship contender with the Stunt Possum Racing. Finley Gamble out in third, while Finn van Hollen holds on to fourth. Christian Fingler up in fifth place, with our championship leader Ronald Priggs sitting down in sixth, with Ulrich Diaga chasing him down, Lewis Knight, Christoph Rolotsky, and then we've got the likes of Hater busy lurking around in 10th. Matt Gale rounding out our 11 cars for our gold division. But time on the board to beat is a 128.255, set on the last lap by Rul Jar, and Christian Fengler up into second place is looking to really stand on the top. But Ronald Priggs does put himself lurking a little bit further up. Matt off circuit will now wait as we're getting closer to the end. Now, each class has 10 minutes to play with that they can get themselves sorted and get back out for qualifying. So, our gold, now with only 3 minutes left on the clock, has got so little time to make it work in play for them. Lewis Knight out there in the Good Smile Racing Lamborghini gets ahead of the Good Smile Racing Nissan GTR. And take a look over to our virtual grandstands. We got Paul the Wolf Enter, we got Celie J, we got Tom O'Melney, all going and cheering in for each of their drivers who are looking to stand on the top here tonight for the ERA Sunday Championship. And it is going to be an absolute brawl. It is going to be a difficult race for every single one of our drivers to really figure out what is going to be the big plan, what is going to be needed to stay at the top. And a 128.2 is the time to beat. Rul Jar has definitely gone and caused a couple of people to raise an eyebrow, especially in the upper divisions, much like Ryan has done from Platinum to the likes of our Diamond drivers. But Ronald Priggs keeps in with his consistency, holds on second. Diego Matos currently up 0.2 on his time as he goes through the double right. Now charges down This is going to be towards our first chicane, where the drivers are going to really try and keep it on the edge as they power their way through. Bouncing over the curbs, the Mustang a little bit happier to just go cruising around and not having too much of a problem. But now it's going to be aiming towards our next bits of chicane. Into the right, into the left, over the cone. Oh, got to be so careful. That, unfortunately, invalidated his lap immediately by cutting the course a little bit too much. Finley Gamble out on circuit, now heading towards our final corner. This is Jackie Xbox, as Finley Gamble currently 0.4 up on his time, slows it beautifully in over the curves, not getting too out of shape, puts his foot flat on the gas. This should move him up into the top 4, and Finley Gamble from 128.8 will go up to third place with 128.4. Great drive on his part. Christian Fengler trying to pick up the time as well. Currently 0.3 up on his time. Real Gel comes across the line. Last lap was 130. Not able to improve after his last one. Van Holland, unfortunately, will not be an improvement. Christian Fengler, next one to come across the line, will be aiming for an improve. A 128.7 to beat. And across the line, sits 128.8. So not able to get that little bit of pace underneath him. Christoph Rodsky out there in the Aston Martin. I still love that blue on the car. 0.1 up on his time. Comes across the line and does improve his time. 128.9. Unable to improve his position, but a good time nonetheless. Lewis Knight pushes his way through. Will end up in 10th. And now for the last of our drivers. Hayter, 0.5. As he comes across the line. Is it going to be enough? Yes, up into 4th place with a 128.550. Finley Gamble trying to push that a little bit harder, I think, has given up the fight in trying to go up a position. And he's going to just try and keep it all under wraps, practicing that pit lane. So crucial to actually get it done. Finn Van Hollen, Lewis Knight are the last of our runners that are going out on circuit. That being said, let's take a look at some of the new drivers heading out there. This is going to be our platinum drivers heading out for their first run. And this is Dave Rochier, the Cyber Racing team. Tom and Melny giving huge support from the sidelines there. Paul Fenter joins back in after a very long hiatus. Now looking to have some fun fighting it out. He's got SM Domingo behind him. A little bit further back, we've got Rich Van Heed, along with the likes of Skirt Reynolds. A little bit further back, Sebastian Lucasen. 47 car, Lucas Collum. 24 goes on to be Nicola Lawrence. The 4 car, Chris Wall, hoping to get up through the order. Milestone in the Audi R8 has shown some great pace in the car. He's hoping to really make it work out in his favor. And he's got the likes of Daniel Mutsua for the proper racing. A little bit further back. And running out, our platinum will be Ryan Gell, who managed to start on the front row last week. And that is what he's going to be aiming for this time round. So, drivers going to be making their way through. Our platinums will be taking it in their stride. The diamonds will be keeping a close eye to that pit wall, ensuring that there is no way these drivers are going to find that edge on them at this point as they come blasting through. Skirt Reynolds, first one to come across the line, looking to give it his absolute all at this moment to really step up the pace in the Mustang. Let's take a look on board with the car as he enters into turn 2. It's a double right that he has to deal with. Out a little bit, come back straight in for 3. Aim for 4. Down to the corner. You into 3rd. Carry the momentum through. Watch for the understeer on the early goings of the race there. Aiming towards the first chicane. This is hard braking, and you got to just get the car as straight as possible. You got to be careful of those anti-cut curbs because they can absolutely launch the cars into the stratosphere by just clipping them. And we have seen that time and time again. Into the second chicane. In through the right, in through the left. There's a slow going one as they keep their foot on the gas and continue to try and figure out what can they do to push that a little bit further. Everyone trying to go that little bit more down the years of Kurt Reynolds, looking to put a time on the board to be the first of the Platinums to do so. And he does come across the line with a 129.6 for a sighting lap. Paul Fenter goes and puts in a 128, and so does Lucas Collop. Finley Gamble going and keeping an eye on the field, but Lucas Collop, a 128.6, first of our Platinums to do so. Absolutely gunning it, giving it the absolute all, hoping to make a push. Lucas Collop, it's good to see him out there putting a good time in. One of the drivers that's had a nightmare of a start to the season, but has stuck it out through and through. Nico Lawrence also trying to help get some pace underneath him. Miles Stone, who is part of the Fear the Bones team, will like to be a little bit closer to his teammates, the likes of Ernest Limburgs and Christoph Peterson, who usually start out within the front 10. And he's going to be hoping to do that and join them in the mix. Daniel Mutsuma, out from Japan, has shown a stellar run in the Yorkshire Tea colours, the proper racing. Always, when in doubt, pinky out, and that's the way you got to drive this car. As he makes his way through a bit. First on the board for the Platinums, another splendid time, a 128.2, and it's not done yet as we jump on board to Ryan Gell in the Porsche. Absolutely giving it his all at the moment, looking to go a little bit quicker, 0.4 up on his personal best. Can he push that little bit more as the Porsche screams and screams its way through, trying to get a little bit more room towards the top? How far can he push the car? How far can he move up the order? This is going to be an absolute chase down for him. And it's going to be a late break, swing it in, putting your foot on the gas, see how it goes as he boots it across the line, 0.7, and he does a 127.5, fastest lap time out there by a good margin. Issam Domingo from Project Vapor will be having a good go to try get a little bit late on the brakes. Stands on the gas as late as possible. He's 0.5 up. Nico Lawrence, 0.2 up. David Broschke, Miles Stone, Daniel Mutsuma, all getting a good time throughout the circuit. Can they make it work? But here comes Issam Domingo. Can he move up into second place with a 0.7 up on his time? Paul Fenter gives it everything he's got. He holds into 10th place. Issam Domingo up into second. Will be looking to start right next to Ryan Gell, saying, listen, buddy, it's not over as yet. Lucas Collop, Nico Lawrence trying to get a little bit more pace. Nico, 0.1 up on his time to try stay in the top 10. Gets his foot on the gas and runs it across the line up into 6th place with a 128.5. Paul Fenter trying to give a little bit of a chase at the moment to the likes of Dave Broschke, who is currently 0.1 up on his time. Miles Stone, 0.6. Can he get into the top 10? He does boot it up into 7th position and had a stellar run, pushing Fenter into 11, just out of that top 10. Kurt Reynolds, Richard Van Heed, two drivers looking to get into the 128s at the moment, are absolutely battling around the circuit, trying to keep it all in check. Reynolds, for the Fear the Bones team, will be trying to give it his absolute all in the Mustang and wants to try and close up to the likes of his teammates further up the road. It's going to be a tough time. Miles Stone holds on to 7th position. He wants to be up there in towards that 7th position and give it his absolute all, booting across the line. And it's going to be a 0.6 thus far. Rich Vanier, 0.5 thus far. Paul Fenter up into 4th place is now just one position behind Arul Jar, who originally took the pole position in the last race, and he's now going to be starting down in 3rd unless the field come out blazing. We haven't even released our diamonds as yet, so Paul Fenter trying to get himself a little bit further up, but take a look at this, 0.4 up over everyone currently. Ryan Gell looking to beat down the time further from a 127.5. He wants to get into a 126, a former Diamond Division that's after a long hiatus returned to racing, and it looks like he's returned to stride as well as he comes across the line. 127.242. That is going to be a big time for the rest of the drivers to think about, as they've only got 1 more minute to go. Issam Domingo has tried everything he can. He's going to be waiting it out. Skurt Reynolds goes around Richard Van Heed, saying, listen, thanks, buddy, but I don't think I've got my time underneath me to work. As we've got Dave Roschke hoping to stay in the mix. 0.3 up. Under braking. Sends it in. Beautiful apex on the left. Beautiful apex on the right. Stands on the gas. Launches it towards the line. Doesn't want to move the steering. 0.3. And he does move up into 8th place. And going to be quite happy on that run. Issam Domingo will come across the line. And unable to improve, will be now thinking about, can he get 1 more lap in with 40 seconds left on the board? But I don't think it's going to be the case. He mines out, and that is him. The likes of Aaron Schegel, unfortunately, no improvement from his side with a 129.6 in that Nissan GTR for the Cyber Racing. The Canadian, not wanting to lose out the time, will be going and getting as much of a stride as he can. And Aaron, who has been a great competitor, now looks to keep ahead of Simon Kursat and David Roth, who weren't able to get a time on the board. But that being said, we are going to be soon releasing our Diamond Division out onto the circuit for their qualifying, to get them going and to get them running at the top. It's the likes of Christoph Pearson, Simon, and the likes of Karl Heinz, who charges out. He's going to be first out the gate. And for Karl Heinz, he wants to be making sure that there is no room for error, that he can really stand on the gas. Christoph Peterson now filtering out as well. Mahath Musa joins in along with Ernest Limburgs, who leads out the Diamond Division 1 point ahead of his own teammate due to the fastest lap. If he can replicate it here and get that victory, he's in for a good bit of fun. But it's going to be a hard time as Aaron, a wheel off into the dirt has definitely compromised him. He's trying to just push that little bit harder, seeing if he could probably get another time on the board. That's all she wrote, unfortunately, for the Nissan GTR driver, who parks it into the kitty litter and sees our Diamond Division start making their way around the circuit. So far, the only drivers that have gone out thus far: Christoph Peterson, Karl Heinz, Mahath Musa, Ernest Limburg, Stephen Milana James, not going out due to a penalty. He will have to start from the back of the pack. This is going to be a tough time indeed for our Diamond Division here at a beautiful circuit of Zolder for round 4 of our ERA Sunday Championship. I've got to say, it has been an absolute monster of a race that we have seen thus far into the championship. We've seen the back and forths. We've seen how close everyone is at the top of the order. The question is, how far are they willing to go in this race? How far can they go and really battle their way to the top? And honestly, and it's going to be a just absolutely incredible run. I've got to say, a great race indeed. Every single one of our drivers now looking to really put their way to the top. It's going to be a tough time out there. It's going to be a difficult race indeed for each of these drivers, as a 127.2 is needed by our Diamond Division to ensure that they rule the roost and stay at the top of the order. I do know, however, that we're going to see some difficult racing coming in with traffic, and that has been the main talking point. There was even a previous chat where the guys were saying how they're going to handle for traffic. Simon Melmy pointing out that 5 diamonds with 1 DSQ for the likes of qualifying. Yes, unfortunately, a little bit of a smaller time A couple of drivers unable to make it here to Zolder for various reasons and will have to be sitting out, losing a point and utilizing that drop round we have in the championship. Karl-Heinz out in third place, first of the diamonds, is managing to really keep the hammer down. He gets beaten out by Christoph Peterson. Really, time starting to drop down. Remember, 127.2 set by Ryan Gell was the benchmark. 127.8 was set by Christoph Peterson, with Karl-Heinz 128.0 as he absolutely hammers it along. Ernest Limburgs comes across the line for the Fear of the Bones at 127.6. Beats out all three and now looks to push that a little bit more. Maith Musa down the order in 7th position, trying to figure out what can he do for the Project Vapor team, and will be absolutely keeping his foot on the gas, having a lot of chats with the fellow Project Vapor team that gives him a lot of info behind the scenes, what the lap times are looking like, what the sector times are looking at, what the drivers are going to be doing. And then occasionally he might get someone asking him, does he want something to drink or an ice cream just for a bit of fun. Maith Musa currently 0.4 up on his time. Ernest Limburgs, who is at the top of the order. Now, I do want to point out, Ernest Limburgs, going back a couple of seasons, was a championship contender that nearly took away the championship, breaking the streak of Christoph Peterson. But unfortunately, it came down to him missing 2 races that took him out of that championship fight. Now returning this season with a single point separating him and his own teammate, Christoph Peterson, looking to take the championship and break that 9-season streak that Christoph Peterson has built up here in ERA. Can he be the one to make it work as he boots it across the line at 127.3? Still not able to beat Ryan Gell at the moment. Karl-Heinz currently 0.2 up on his time. Maith Musa and Christoph Peterson, no improvements as yet, are still battling with their cars. Unable to get it going, unable to battle their way through, still trying to figure out what is the big game plan for the race. Karl-Heinz currently giving it absolutely everything he can, keeping his foot firmly planted to the floor for the Cyber Racing team, 0.6 up. This is a seriously good time for him as he really starts to dial in the wick. He's got 2 corners to carry this momentum. It's going to go right into the braking marker, late on the brakes, in through the left-hander, boots it on the way out, gets onto the throttle through the right, and really gives it everything he can. A little touch of the dirt there, 0.4, and crosses the line with a 127.5 to put himself into 3rd place. Christoph Peterson trying to go that little bit further as well. 0.3 up on his time. 0.4. He's got a good one. He's giving it all he's got. Boots it through. Can he knock out a Karl-Heinz? He does get it. He moves up into 3rd. Karl-Heinz down into 4th. Yet again, Maith Musa, no improvement. But Ernest Limburgs is up. 0.2 on everyone. This is going to be a podium position if he can get it. And crosses the line with a 127.145. Ernest Limburgs will be holding on to the top spot by 0.097 unless Christoph Peterson, Karl-Heinz and Maith Musa can have anything to say about it. So Limburgs gonna be happy with that one. Our diamond starting out in pole position, and last week it was Christoph Peterson holding on to Ryan Gell for the start of the race. This time around it's going to be Ernest Limburgs with Ryan Gell right next door to him. Peterson, Heinz, and Musa still giving it everything they can to try and dig that little bit deeper in for the points. And it is going to be Karl-Heinz backing things off, slowing it down, trying to get himself ready for possibly one more hot lap. He's going to go for it. So this is Karl-Heinz doing a push lap. Slowed it down, got his pace, and now hoping to do one more push lap, one more effort to get it across the line. Christoph Peterson going to do everything he can, but will not improve. A 127.505 is improvement on his lap time, but couldn't get out of 3rd place. Karl-Heinz is an option, yeah. If he can keep up the hard work in the Mustang, puts the wheel slightly off, he might be able to get that 3rd place. Putting Christoph Peterson on a very, very crummy line here at Zolder that can absolutely throw him down the field. Blythe Musa starting behind, will be starting next door to his own teammate at the moment, Isam Domingo, out there in the Platinum division, while our Diamond driver will be looking across from to his left-hand side, going, my heavens, why on earth am I this far down? Take a look over to our virtual grandstands. Tomo Melmi going to be quite happy with the Cyber Racing team doing an absolutely stellar job at the moment. But also, we've got the likes of Liam Swinburne coming in and saying, how's it? All the way out from the UK. It's good to have all you guys joining out here at ERA for the Sunday Championship. And a massive welcome to you all to round 4 of the ERA Sunday Championship. Oh, Cole, you had it there. Unfortunately, outbraked himself and went straight into the dirt. He was 0.3 up on his time when it all went wrong. Unfortunately, trying to slow that behemoth down didn't quite make it work. Hard on the brakes they go. In through the left, in through the right. Blythe was a 0.3 up. Can he get ahead of his teammate? Gives it everything he's got. From 6th, he moves up. And is it going to be a top 4 for him? Blythe Musa up into 4th place. What a drive for their qualifying as everyone now waits to see where they go. But it's going to be Ernest Lindbergs lining up against Ryan Gell for the 2nd week in a row. A Platinum driver, Ryan Gell, will be taking on the Diamonds. And let's not forget, Ryan had a hiatus period from racing for quite some time. Returned. He was previously a Diamond, but since the hiatus, he only got into the Platinum division, and he's starting to show that pace is there. Just needs the luck to come into the fray as well. And a massive welcome to everyone as we get ready to rock and roll. 33 cars are here to set the stage for round 4 at a beautiful, beautiful Zolder. And it's going to be an exciting one as well. This is server 1. We do have a server 2 that is up at the same time. That has our silvers, our irons, all going and being a part of the racing for the newer rookies. For those that haven't got tremendous pace, those that are still learning the different ways to get quicker and quicker. Here at ERA, it's all about teaching, and we love to have this progression system as well. From our platinums to our golds, from our golds to our platinums to our diamonds, our iron to bronze to the likes of our silvers, which is always great to have every single person coming in. And once again, our servers packed with nearly every driver coming in from nearly every single continent around the planet. And that, I cannot stress enough, is just a massive, massive achievement here in ERA. And we thank all the drivers and teams for joining us, being a part of it, and seeing all this epic racing action. Now, as we wait to get ready to go, we are going to be excited as we move on to our race here tonight. It's 29 degrees track temperature. It is rather hot here at Zolder with an air temperature of 21 degrees, but I'm sure we can see, we can feel that. I know there's a good couple of you out there standing in shorts and t-shirt waiting for the time, and I don't blame you. I'm enjoying it here in the commentary booth. We've got a small little itty-bitty flan that has just followed us through the seasons. It's kept us all well and calm, but we are in for a stellar treat here tonight. The wind is, it's okay. It's not heavily blowing, but it is something to take notice of around the circuit. We are expecting that this weather will hold out for the hour race that we have here tonight. And our drivers are going to be rather thankful of it after having some very close calls in the dark, having some fun in the rain, and as they get taught how to move forward and have to think on their feet, well, it's going to be all to the game plan. We have a little bit of a smaller grid for our our diamond division, but that's because tonight a couple of drivers weren't able to make it to the line. They've had some family, had to be around some family, so obligations that side has kept them away from the grid tonight, but are tuning in from the virtual grandstands, which is absolutely incredible to see, and always very, very thankful for our drivers joining us here in the grandstands and out on the circuit. Now, if you're new to ERA and you're new to our racing, where have you been? It's been an absolutely incredible season, and this is our final season of the ERA Sunday Championship of 2025. This is round 4, and you'll see that there is these penalties coming in. 15 seconds, 10 seconds, 5 seconds. Now, let me explain it to you. If you came in first, last race, you get 15 seconds. We call it a success penalty. The reason for it is to help you think on your feet, bring the grids a little bit closer to one another, and then you have to push that a little bit more. Those 15 seconds are served during the pit stop. So if you came first place, you got 15 seconds. That is what Ernest Lindbergs and Ryan Gell are both facing, and Ronald Priggs as well, after their victories last week. Now, 10 seconds is for second place. Christoph Peterson, David Broschke, and Finn van Hollen have got that on their cards, and 5 seconds goes to those that came in third, like what we have for Chris Wall, as you can see on screen, and a couple of others moving down, likes of Matt Gale will be also having that same problem of 5 seconds. But Stephen Milano James, due to some penalties that were given previous race, has a stop-go 30-second that he has to serve in the pits. And that is 60 seconds, a minute of standing time when you're getting your tires sorted out. With that being said, folks, we're getting ready to rock and roll. And let's go through our grid here for the ERA Sunday Championship, round 4 at Zolder. And it's going to be an incredible one. And Ryan is flashing just to say, Ernest, I'm coming for you, buddy. I'm going to be coming for you. It's Ernest Lindbergs starting out first place with Ryan Gell in second place. Christoph Peterson, along with Mahath Musa, will hold up the second row. Cole Heinz and SM Domingo will be in the third row. Rule Jar, Paul Fenter, Ronald Priggs, Finley Gamble, Lucas Collett, David Broschke, Nico Lawrence, Miles Stone in 14th. 15th is likes of Hater, along with Chris Wall, Christian Finger, along with Skirt Reynolds in 18th position. Diego Matos will be lining up next to Finn van Hollen for our top 20. Ulrich Dialga, Sebastian Luxen will be 21st and 22nd. 23rd, Christoph Roloski, followed by Lewis Knight, Rich Fanine, Daniel Mutsuma, Matt Gale, along with Aaron Shergill, and the likes of David Roth, Stephen Milano James, Simon Cussat, David Young, and Nick Neville, who didn't set a qualifying time, was out of qualifying, just arrived to make it 33 cars to have some fun out on the circuit. Welcome, Nick. Glad to have you. A little bit of a late way to get into it, but always wonderful to have drivers to come and have some fun with us here tonight. And all eyes are going to be on the front row because Ernest Lindbergs, leader of the Diamond Championship, will go against Ryan Gell, who currently fights out in the Platinum Division and hoping to win big points here at Zolder, and is going to be keeping a very close eye. SM Domingo is his competition further back, and he has got SM Domingo and Mahath Musa, who are teammates around one another. Ernest Lindbergs and Christoph Peterson are teammates around one another, and this is going to be where life gets tricky. All eyes go to the front. Our front row, Ernest Lindbergs and Ryan Gell, go through the left-hander, go through the right. For the final time, they take a breath, they look towards the light, and they will look to go green. 70 kilometers an hour, drivers at the ready, lights on, lights on. Our cameraman has got a photo of himself in the mirror, and we are ready to go now, and we go off. I always get caught out by these as Ernest Lindbergs trying to get the run on Ryan Gell, who goes around the outside. Side by side they go, all looking neat as everyone filters their way through. Mahath Musa keeping it everything in check. Has got Cole Heinz as we filter on Lucas Collett, going and having a battle of notes as he tries to move his way forward. Seeing Ronald Priggs, leader of our gold division, side by side with him in through the right-hander, and absolutely no yield there. Ryan Gell guarding that inside line, loses out to Christoph Peterson. Mahath Musa closes right onto the back of him as they jump over the curbs, and it's Paul Fento absolutely hits the curbs as hard as he could to taking out some frustration there in the Aston Martin, I see, Paul, as Maeth Musa keeps pressure on Ryan Gell. Immediately got Cole Hines for a bit of company there, and SM Domingo lurks in the background, waiting for his opportunity. Nico Lawrence going right behind Lucas Collab, his teammate in endurance racing, now looking to just keep it all in check as they filter their way through. Miles Stone trying everything he can, but Chris Wall under braking on Dave Roschke, trying to get that pass on the inside. Couldn't quite get the gas down fast enough, and Dave Roschke says not going to happen this time around. He goes for the guarding on the inside. Chris Wall's going to try and step it around the out. Going to really have to sink it in late there. Couldn't quite get it done, and it is going to have to be a wait out that little bit more as Hayter closes up the gap. Christian Fingler right behind will continue on the charge as drivers just absolutely hunting their way through. Scott Reynolds trying to get ahead of Sebastian Lucasen, and immediately has Daniel Mutsuma claw his way past him into turn one, gets a little out of shape. That causes him to slow down, and it now has Christoph Rolotsky getting right into the back of him, joined by Aaron Schergel all the way from the likes of Cyber Racing, who wants to get past the Los Pantos Hermanos, two teams that have gone to war with one another more than past. Daniel Mutsuma losing out a little bit of drive after clipping the dirt. Stephen Milano James into the pits, serving his stop-go 30, as we do see Sebastian Luxen trying to get past likes of Finn Van Holland and bottled up his drive. Skirt Reynolds is going to say thank you very much, and so is Daniel Mutsuma. Gets around a little bit of contact between the two. Daniel's got to keep it sent in. Side by side they go, and a little bit of argy-bargy there. Daniel Mutsuma having to just close the line off on Skirt Reynolds as Lucasen goes door to door with him. Matt Gale waits for his opportunity as well as they continue on the drive. Back up towards our podium spots. Ryan Gell, who leads out the Platinum, putting the pressure onto Christoph Peterson as they charge their way through. Limburg's trying to set the fastest lap time, immediately gets beaten up by Ryan Gell, 127.852 as his best lap time, and Ernst Limburg's 128.0, so that 127 was absolutely a dominating effect on his part to keep going. Christian Fengler and Finn Van Holland having a good run with one another. Sebastian Luxen loses out to Skirt Reynolds, trying to go around the outside in turn one. Rough drive, does able to get it hooked in. But now take a look at this, as Skirt Reynolds has got Simon Kusat out in the big Bentley. The Los Pantos Hermanos big Bentley continues to charge on and battle his way through. It's going to be late on the brakes. Tries to sink it in, couldn't quite get it done. But I do want to point out, there's something written on the back of this big Bentley as we see him fight out with Simon Kusat at the moment. Under braking. And there we go, mental health matters. Los Pantos Hermanos going and reminding everyone that mental health matters. It's always grand to have a chat, a cry, and move forward, and keep your eyes on the skies. Chris Wall now starting to keep his eyes on the mirrors, left, right, and center at the moment, as he's got Hayter and the likes of Diego Matos all over the back of him, and Diego is looking to try and clear Hayter as fast as possible to see if he can stay in for that top four in the gold division. Isam Domingo and Paul Fenter continue on their charge in the platinum division, going and holding second and third. Rule Jar currently holding on to the top of our gold division with Finley Gamble in second place. As they move on, Nico Lawrence up on the inside. Lucas Collab runs about a little bit wide there, and Lucas Collab trying to bring that big Mercedes back into the fray. Oh, it's going to be absolutely late on the gas to try and get it done. And Nico Lawrence sweeps across the nose, says it's not going to happen, buddy. Lucas Collab is going to have another run at him. And also Miles Stone out in the Audi, pushing harder. But we do have a car in the wall. Maeth Musa is in the wall. And that is the 54 in a world of hurt. Let's quickly try and take a look what happened to Maeth Musa. So he's got Cole Hines behind him, heading towards the chicane. Did he hook the curbs and send this car into the stratosphere? There's the first jump, there's the second jump, loss of drive. Cole Hines gets a little bit of a tap underneath him, and unfortunately going into the wall from the likes of our top five. Now 22nd, just ahead of Simon Kusat. David Broschke keeps an eye on Ronald Priggs up on the inside of Chris Wall, and immediately Hayter going in a very clever approach, kept his nose against the rear wing of Ronald Priggs, hoping to try and get the pass done. If Chris Wall backed off the throttle, he would have been able to clear, but Chris Wall is going to challenge Ronald left, right, and center for Priggs at the moment. He's in towards third of our gold division, is battling out against Chris Wall of our Platinums, who does not want to fall down. Hayter up on the inside of Priggs, trying to see if he can clear on by. That's opened the door for Diego Matos. 3 into 1 corner, not going to be the best idea in the world. Diego second guessed that option. He said, no, I'm not going to have that happen. And immediately Christian Fengler keeps his foot absolutely firm, wishes to try and get that pass on Diego. He does hook it in on the inside. Ronald Priggs falls down behind Hayter as they continue on the charge. Drivers giving it everything they can. Hayter, Priggs, Fengler, and Matos fighting out for 14th position overall, and each of them fighting for third in class. No one looking to yield. Sebastian Lucasen trying to catch up to the likes of Finn Van Holland. He's currently in the Platinum division and not having an easy time out there. Is Daniel Mutsuma slowly closing up on the drive, trying to get that little bit more of a jump back up through the order. I just want to take my hat off to a driver out there, Stephen Leonard James. Despite a stop-go 30-second penalty that it was incurred, he is still out and going. And Rich Vanieda running into another problem in his car, stopped out on circuit. This is not the first time that he's had everything come to a close on him. And then quickly, let's take a look on board. Stuck in third gear. I've got a funny feeling that car has now shut down on him, and he's trying to get that car back up and going. We'll lose our position, but everyone that's launching on by will see him on the inside, and that will also be yellow flags in the corner, making it rather difficult to get on by. While Ronald Priggs, on the other hand, is going to defend against the likes of Christian Fengler. Both not backing down. Hayter's got them cleared, but now take a look. Fengler round the outside. The commitment to stay in it all the way through is definitely a hard one. Diego Matos going to try and go side by side against Ronald Priggs as he does launch the car over the curbing. Doesn't get quite the drive he wanted to have, but he did get the climb on Ronald Priggs. And now Finn Van Holland getting into the mix. Sebastian Lucasen trying to get into the mix as well. And Daniel Mutsuma not too far behind. Will look to put on the drive and see if he can close up through the field. It does look like Rich Van Eed, unfortunately, retiring the car. Whatever's gone on has caused him to back out of the race completely. A full shutdown of the vehicle means that it's game, set, match for him at the moment. Hopefully the team can get that car back out and going. Miles Stone all over the back of Dave Roschke at the moment. Can't figure out how to clear him as we go on board the rear wing of the Cyber Racing Mustang. I've got to say, whoever did the paintwork for the Cyber Racing team in the blue here, absolutely love it. Shapes really give it a good look. But also Miles Stone with a few of the bones going and showing what he can do as well. Right behind them, Chris Wall will be looking to clear on by. Sebastian Lucasen going and seeing Daniel Mutsuma on the back of him. I do want to point out though that we've got Ronald Priggs, who's all the way down for Finn Holland as well. So what happened to the 371 car as he was a little bit further up the road? There's Diego Matos, there's Sebastian Lucasen side by side with Finn Holland. So Diego had the inside line. Sebastian Lucasen, contact in the background. And that, oh my heavens. Wow. Okay, that was two different incidents that could have turned horribly ugly. And Finn Van Holland, who was in a little bit of an argy-bargy moment, missed his brake marker, missed the back of Ronald Priggs by so little, but that was off, and then immediately after, Ronald Priggs going and clipping the rear of the likes of Diego Matos, landed up with them both spinning out. But that could have been a terrible T-bone, taking two cars clean out of this race, and will be needing major repair work after that. But I mean, what a drive to just find the little gap to get that pass done and dusted. And I don't think Ronald Prince knows how close he was to death at that point. And all was thinking of, oh, shouldn't have had that little bit of side-by-side contact with Diego Matos, but had to see if I could get that corner on. Both, unfortunately, falling down the order. Hayter up on the inside of Milestone at the moment as they charge their way through into the right hand of the Audi R8, trying to hang around the outside. Not going to have an easy time out there. Loses out, but we do have yellow flags for the 787 car. Stephen Milona James, he backed off the throttle to allow Finley Gamble to come on by. And it says, oh, thank you, I'm going to keep on going. He's now going to see the next of the battles lurking around him, and will be trying to figure out what is going to be the big plan for his run. Lucas Collab onto the back of Nico Lawrence. These two know each other rather well. They're going to be pushing each other that little bit more up through the order. They got to think about what's the big plan here. How can they move on forward? Now, a little bit of a fun fact for the track tool team. There was a bit of a discussion down in the teams of they've got all these different livery, they've got all the same livery, but they wanted to make some slight alterations on them. So you see the DeVault written on the side. They were thinking of adding Bosch. They were thinking of adding a variety of other tools. So each of the different cars have a different tool on them to represent the tools behind the steering wheels. Now I'm talking about the very nice people. They work very well. But trying to add a little bit of change to the cars and to give them a little bit of personality as well. It's just some interesting discussions down in the pits from each of the drivers. Scott Reynolds and Simon Cossack trying to push a little bit harder as they hold on for 19th and 20th place. Finn Van Hollen with Ronald Prince all over the back of them as they push on, waiting for the top time. It is Ernest Lindbergh's leading out the Diamond Division, 2.8 seconds behind Christoph Peterson in second place. Third place and first in the Platinum is Ryan Gell. Third of our Platinum is Cole Height for the Cyber Racing team. Second for our Platinum, fifth overall, is Simon Domingo. Has got Paul Fenter, long-term rival, these two, lying in third place in the Platinum and lying 3 seconds adrift from him. Moving on to our Gold Division, Arul Jar is now 2.3 seconds ahead of Finley Gamble, who holds on to second place of our Gold Division. They've got Hayter going and finding out with Christian Fengler for that third place. Nico Lawrence holds on to 9th with 10th place. Lucas Collin trying to move his way up through the order. No one's done their first pit stop as yet. The only one that's been through the pits but had to serve his stop-go 32nd, so couldn't put any fuel in at the time, Stephen Milano James. They have got a mandatory one pit stop they need to do. That means you have to get in, put 1 litre in the car, and then get going back underfoot. Simon Kussa and Scott Reynolds change up for position on the two of them, and it looked like it might have been a bit of argy-bargy as it went through. Let's quickly take a look at the 98 and the 440 as Simon Kussat looked for the inside line, late on the brakes, trying to make it work, backed out of it, jumped over the curbs, and there was Scott Reynolds who got it all out of shape, ran a little bit of drift, trying to close up, and unfortunately the two of them checking each other's wing mirrors to make sure that, yes, they are firmly attached, the bolts are working, and there's no need to go back to the pits and reattach those wing mirrors. They just sorting them out, maybe he just wasn't quite sure, they were a little bit adrift. Move it in a little bit. There we go. Now I can see my quarter panel. Thank you. Didn't want to see it in any case, but now I do, just to make sure it's still attached. Myth Musa and Sebastian Lucasen fight it out with one another. Lucasen out there in the mental health reminder has got Myth Musa, who is on a climb back up through the order after coming off aimed at the wall, and also has got that front end damage to him as well. That Carl fighting out for 24th. He's got Aaron right behind him, Lewis as well in the good smile, Lamborghini getting some great drive, Ulrich de Jager for the Griffin Sim Racing team, and Diego Matos having a good run at him. Christopher Lotsky trying to close up the distance as well. David Young and Nick Level round out our pack at the moment that are on the lead lap. Stephen Milano James is at the back of the field but still circulating, and Stephen, keep going, buddy. If their points are down at the moment, you've got to see it through to the end. You've gone this far, as we got 44 minutes left of this race. 15 minutes heading to 16 minutes completed of the race. And we already have Stephen Milano James actually stopped off on the side, trying to allow as many cars to go on by without impacting their race. And I've got to say, a very clever move on his part. It's a hard one. When you're a backmarker, to think, okay, hold my line, be predictable, make it easy for the drive. Well, the last thing you want to do is land up in this worst case scenario here, where put off line, thrown into the dirt, causes you to lose out even more time after trying to allow as many cars to go on by as possible. The driver's thinking, what can we do? Let's try and move our way up through the order. Stephen Milano James, last of our diamonds, is taking a bit of a beating out there, but hats off, he's still circulating. Ulrich Diaga has got Diego Matos trying to go after him. Diego also looking to climb his way back up after the side-on contact he had a little bit early on that threw him down the order. That was up against the likes of Ronald Priggs heading into the final corner. Hayter seeing Christian Fingler around the outside now. Fingler's done this more than once at the moment. He sticks to the outside line. He's comfortable on the way through. He's found the grip, but just quite couldn't get it to work. And a little bit of an up and under comes in as Hayter gets clipped on the rear when he understeered out, and Fingler ran into the back of him. Now Fingler actually slowing up to allow Hayter to reclaim the position ahead of him, and that's going to have Daniel Mutsuma boxed in. Mutsuma boxed in. Simon Kusset says thank you very much. He launches on by. Fingler, trying to be a gentleman, has now caught out Daniel Mutsuma. Simon Kusset immediately trying to take the charge and does do so. Fingler got to be kicking himself a little bit there, but Daniel Mutsuma must be having an almighty amount of words underneath his helmet, going and seeing, okay, he's slowing up, I have an opportunity. All of a sudden, now getting caught out as Simon Kusset stole that position right away, blocked in Daniel Mutsuma, boxed him in and said, right, there we go, buddy, you are stuck. And Christian trying to be the gentleman, unfortunately going and fouling him up quite a bit of drift. Oh man, what a blow coming into play. Miles Musa getting past Sebastian Lucasen as that is a bit of a problem. Miles off into the dirt. Musa says thank you. Sebastian says thank you as they carry on the charge. Man, oh man, what a race it's turning into. Fingler trying to go around the outside of Kusat. Can't quite get it to hook in after seeing Hayter start to get the climb. And now Las Pantos Hermanos opens the distance. Christian Fingler holding on to 18th. Daniel Mutsuma 1 second down. Will be thinking what he needs to do. Finn Holland onto the back of David Roth. Has got Matt Gale on the back of him. Aaron Churgill trying to have a go. And take a look at Lewis Knight. Under braking. Defense to the inside line. Ulrich Diaga holds the racing line to ensure he gets the best drive possible as he's got Diego Matos onto the back of him, going and fighting their way through. And this is the one thing about the circuit. There is very, very little zones. You can go for the passes. There's very, very little passes that you can have, and you're going to have to make it work. You got to sink it in, get it done. Otherwise, you compromise yourself so bad. So, just a proper chase on the way through. Tom Melby saying Stephen Milano James just having a chilling drive, and that has to be the case. You are a lap down. You had that stop go 30-second. The last thing you want to do is have even more look into by our stewards here at ERA. Big shout out to them for the thankless job they actually have to go and hand out penalties, and it lands up having out penalties to even their own mates, and makes things rather awkward when you meet up as Christian Fingler trying to look on the inside of Simon Kusat, couldn't quite get it done. Daniel Mutsuma now gets back into the fray, closing up the distance. Simon Kusat bouncing over the curbs, really attacking it. Christian Fingler getting a poor drive out of the corner. Now has the McLaren of Daniel around, looking late on the brakes, sinks it in, gets it done. Skirt Reynolds now in the mix, and Ronald Priggs as well. That girl loses out the drive. He's got Lewis Knight, but Nick Neville also had a little bit of a tough time with a yellow flag coming up for him. 175 car going and landing up in the dirt, and we did have one for the 508 car. That was Matt, who had a bit of a whoopsie-daisy moment on the circuit. Is now then trying to challenge Good Smile team. Oh, just gets it in, and oh, there's the contact. Gets Lewis Knight, and Ulrich de Jager had to take evasive maneuvers, and that landed him into the dirt, and now losing out that drive yet again as he rejoins the circuit. Allows Stephen Malone and James to keep going. David Young is the first to have completed their pit stops. Young just trying to get himself going back onto the track without interfering too much with the drivers. Ulrich de Jager, likes of Diego Matos, David Borski, all into pit lane for their pit stop. And this is going to be an interesting one now. 38 minutes, when we expect halfway, 30 minutes. Majority of the drivers would be aiming to get in the pits that time. But I've got a funny feeling. We saw it a little bit last week where they go down to the final 20 minutes, booted into the pits, get themselves sorted and carry on. Especially if you've got the penalties of 15 seconds on top of you. That success penalty going to throw them into a bit of a mix. And that's going to be the concern for the likes of Ernest Lindberghs, Ryan Gell, and the likes of Ronald Priggs, as they have to look to score as many positions as possible despite having that time deficit. Ernest at 4.6 seconds ahead of Christoph Peterson. Ryan Gell very, very clear of Issa Domingo as it stands. As Sam Kusat, Daniel Mutzberg, Christian Fingler, and Hayter drop down. And Hayter not having an easy time out there immediately as Skirt Reynolds and Ron Priggs on the back of him. 992 Carl not having an easy raid. Now we'll have to try and figure out what's the drive. And let's quickly go back to a replay on that, because here is Hayter getting the drive. Simon Kusat right on the back of him, pushing that a little bit harder, seeing if he can try and get a little bit closer. Late on the brakes, goes for the send on the inside, understeers both out, and there is Daniel, who says thank you very much. Unfortunately, Hayter couldn't get the drive. That fouled him up even further down the line, and going to be a rough one indeed. Diego Matos down the order, now trying to make his way through, completed his pit stop, and that has actually given Stephen Milano James a position or two as he gets ahead of Ulrich de Jager and Diego Matos. Still needs to do that final pit stop. He's up to 29 at the moment, but Ulrich de Jager so close to the back of him, will be looking for a clean pass. Finn Van Hollen take a look in his mirrors. He sees Aaron from Cyber Racing up on the inside of David Roth as both land up, missing their marks for the chicane. And Aaron getting the upper hand to the likes of David Roth. The Canadian getting ahead of the American at the moment, trying to see where they go. And our first of the top 10, Lucas Collum into the pits. This is an exciting one to see where exactly he comes out, because he needs to be clear of Chris Wall down in 26th position as he's getting chased down by David Roschke. But Matt, with that 5-second penalty, is doing his pit stop. Stephen Milano James needing to do his. But Chris Wall is going to be a very interesting fact to keep an eye on. Lucas Collum, Aaron, and Christoph Rolotsky all bail into the pits to get themselves sorted out. Christian Fingler closes up the distance to Daniel Mutzma at the moment, holding on to 15th as he aims for 14th position of Daniel Mutzma just ahead. And it's going to be a really rough fight with McLaren going in through the marbles right before braking. That is a very, very rough situation. He boots it, and oh, Fingler just getting a little bit elbows out against Daniel Mutzma in for the corner. They were going side by side. It didn't work out, and now Hayter is going to put his nose on the inside. Daniel, the McLaren driver, trying to defend, goes and jumps the chicane as much as possible and loses that little bit of drive, but still keeps up ahead of Hayter. Skirt Reynolds is right in the mix as well. Ronald Priggs closes up the distance. Hayter trying to go around the outside. Late on the brakes for Daniel Mutzma. He slows it down on the apex. fouls up the big V8 of Hayter at the moment, allows Reynolds and Briggs to close up the distance as much as possible. And it's going to be late breaks for Scoot Reynolds. He misses his mark. Ronald Briggs says thank you very much. He's just going to go straight in the pits at the moment and clearing his way through. But man, oh man, that nearly was a touch from Reynolds and Hayter under braking. Lucas Collab leads out those that have done their pit stops for now, as he will see likes of Cole Hines, Daniel Mutzma, Ronald Briggs, and David Roth going across. Scoot Reynolds landing up, coming out onto the circuit. Well, actually, that was after a mistake, and Aaron Shergill as well. Just a bit of a slow drive for him. But what happened to the likes of Reynolds? That 98 driver not having an easy time. And let's quickly take a look at what happened. This is into turn 1. Looking just fine. Runs it out a little bit wide. The rear starting to catch his way out. Does see a car coming out. Oh, that was contact. Hayter catching the Nissan GTR and landed up with the 98, getting a little bit of a business situation there. Slight clip between the two. But man, oh man, I mean, this is Hayter, and he collided up against 213. That was up the road from him. So here we go. See what happened, and let's quickly go to our handicap. Oh, just turned across the nose of the Nissan GTR, and Hayter, fortunately, going and clipping the nose of Aaron, who was exiting pit lane at the time. Suddenly, all caught out. As Finn Van Hollen dives into the pits, Cole Hines behind Ulrich Diaga will be looking to clear on by. Ulrich Diaga lapped down on Cole Hines, who currently leads out those that have done their pit stop. Lucas Collin is 26 seconds behind Cole Hines at the moment. Cole hoping for a good run up through the order. Ulrich Diaga minding out of the way and says, come on by. For Cole Hines, never mind. Actually wasn't going to let that happen too easily. In a little bit later on the brakes, try and open up the corner. Back up towards the top, Simon Kuss and Milestone currently brawl it out, and they've got Christian Fengler 2.6 seconds back, trying to keep an eye on them. Ernest Lindbergh's into pit lane. Our first place car into pit lane, serving his 15-second penalty, and is going to be one to keep an eye on, because he'll be the second of the drivers that had that 15 seconds on their time. That will need to be seeing how it goes, as we do see a late break for Simon into the hairpin. Can he keep the car sorted out? And Milestone runs out wide, loses that little bit of drive. There's Ronald Briggs right behind him, and Ronald is down in 25th position. He served his pit stops and is down in 25th position. He's hoping to get ahead of Lewis Knight and Finn Van Hollen, who are now just leaving the pits. So is it going to be enough for Briggs to get in the mix? He does spot them just ahead as he enters turn 1. He's got to give it everything he's got. Lewis Knight's got on the gas, and Finn Van Hollen as well has gotten out ahead. So the undercut didn't work out for our gold division, and now the likes of Finn Van Hollen, despite the little bit of damage on his car, continues to hold on for that huge charge up the order. Simon Kussat will clear him along with Milestone. And here comes Ronald Briggs right behind the Fear the Bones driver. He goes side by side in the chicane, and Finn Van Hollen drops down into the bottom. And now 25th position, seeing Ronald Briggs will be looking to try and see where he can go. Immediately having the likes of Christian Fengler boots his way on by as well. Cole Hines all over the back of Ernest Lindbergh's, who has exited the pit lane. Lindbergh's leading out those who have done the pit stops of the Diamond Division and is our championship leader. Holds on ahead of Cole Hines, who has been on a fighting charge. Last season had some great races. Lady Luck wasn't always on his side, but Cole Hines has come back with an absolute charge at the moment and starting to prove it every step of the way, as they do see Nick Neville ahead of him and will be looking to try and get on by. Ernest Lindbergh's just absolutely having a tough time out there. Quick flash of light saying to Nick, please mind out the way, buddy. I need to come on by. Cole Hines is all over the back of me, He's going to make life rather difficult into the braking zone. Nick Neville dives into the pits to get himself sorted out and releases these two to just carry on the drive. Further up from them is going to be the Las Pantos Humanas team and likes of Matt Gale, who continue on their drive. So, a brawl out and going. Ryan Gell out into the pits. First of our platinums. Now, let's see where he comes out. Issam Domingo is going to carry on by. Will Paul Fenter do exactly the same? Paul Fenter, late on the brakes, gets himself all sorted out for the corner. So they're going to get the jump on Ryan Gell at the moment. His next eye is going to be towards Nico Lawrence. Whether Nico's going to go in the pits or go that little bit further. Finley Gamble dives into pit lane. And Nico Lawrence opting not to, along with the likes of Daniel Mutsma at the moment. He's going to keep going that little bit further. I think Daniel has already done his pit stop. So Daniel's done his pit stop. He's going to keep going that little bit further. Christian Fingler, milestone, brawling for position. Will see Simon Kussat ahead of him. And it is going to be Fingler diving into the pits. He gets right close to that as milestone, as close as he can. Couldn't quite get that pass in, but a drive-through penalty for track limits exceeded goes to Cole Hines, who was on such a good run. He went over the chicanes a little too much, got 3 warnings from the stewards, and it's a drive-through penalty for Cole Hines, who had everything in the bag, aiming for second. Now needs to slow things down, get through the pits of that drive-through, and get back out on the circuit with a hard push up through the order. Our top 7 still needing to pit at the moment, and we'll be thinking, hold on, what's the game plan here for Peterson, Domingo, Fenter, Jar, Lawrence, Kussat, and Stone, who continue on their drive, being the only ones to still go and see their drive through to the end. A monster task to come in as Domingo and Jar decide they're going to get in the pits. of 992 with a bit of a problem. That is Hayter in the wall, parked off. What on earth happened to Hayter? Quickly go on to our helicam. Lewis Knight in the Lamborghini behind. Miles away, Hayter puts 2 wheels in the dirt, spat into the wall, bounces back. Hayter going and clearing passes, thank you very much. And unfortunately, that is Hayter into the wall, into the pits, and getting some repair work on the car. I really hope they can get that car back out on the circuit to see it through to the end for the last 26 minutes of this race, as we keep an eye on Aaron and likes of Christoph Rolotsky, who go right up against one another, pushing that little bit further. Domingo leaving pit lane now, will hold on to 4th, maybe not, as Limburgs comes on by, says thank you very much. Domingo will be down in 5th place. Arul Jar leaving pit lane. Simon Kussat stuck in pit. Ryan Gell comes around, he's in 6th position, and will be looking to try and close the distance to Milestone and Paul Fenter, who currently hold on to the top. Paul into the pits, now trying to get himself done and dusted. Milestone will be the next one, as he's got Ronald Priggs just behind him, keeping the pressure on, as Arul Jar leads out the gold division. Finley Gamble in 2nd, Christian Fingler in 3rd for our gold division. For our platinum, it's Paul Fenter, Milestone, and Issam Domingo, who currently hold on to those top spots. Christoph Peterson, Ernest Limburgs, and Cole Hines hold on towards our top 3 of our Diamond division. And there goes Milestone, boots it into the pits, says thank you very much, that's me done and dusted. I'm going to get it out the way and see where exactly I come out to Paul Fenter and to the likes of Ryan Gell, who has been on a great charge at the moment, but has to clear past Issam Domingo. They're fighting for position. Issam's not going to make it too easy on him. Ryan Gell will have to think a little bit, as he's got Diego Matos in front of him. A lap down, but still can be a bit of a marker to deal with. Dave Rochke loses out a little bit of time. Sebastian Luxon and Chris Wall out there in the Aston Martins as they keep an eye on Simon Kussat. Only one drive-through at the moment that has been issued out, and that was to the likes of Cole Hines. 4 track limits exceeded. Unfortunately, that is for gaining an advantage while you're doing it if you cut the chicane and you manage to keep your foot on the brake all the way through, that you don't gain time. You can kind of get away with it, but most of the time our stewards are too wise for that one, and they hand out penalties coming in, and I think quite a few of these drivers are sitting with their final penalty on the cards. Limburg's trying to push a little bit harder, has been substantially quicker than Christoph Peterson, who's been running 128.5 to Ernest Limburg's 127.660 as his quickest lap of the race. Remember, quickest lap in your class for the race means it's 1 extra point towards the championship. Daniel Munzema clears the nose of Miles Stone, who's now got Christian Fingler all over the back of him. Fingler hoping to take a little bit more of a climb up through the order as he takes the dive on Miles Stone and really puts the power down. Miles is going to give it everything he got. The Fear the Bones driver giving the track tool team a bit of a rough one down into the hairpin, into the chicane. It was Argy Bargy, both got through, but only just. That could have been Fingler, touched and in the wall, kissing the barrier. Not quite the way he would like to be, but man, oh man, both drivers well done for holding it all together. As two more drivers out of this race. Richard Van Heerd out of the race, and it does look like we managed to lose Hayter as well, who they've obviously decided that car not too good to go back out on the circuit. And 31 cars remain. Nat Gale, Diego Matos round out our bottom as Aaron Sugar, Ulrich Diago, Stephen Milano James, who still needs to pit after the stop go 30, will need to get his pit stop done and dusted and get himself done and ready to race. Ernest Limburgs now will get reports. Christoph Peterson now into pit lane, will be getting his pit stop done. Remember, he's got a 10-second that he will have to serve as well. Limburgs trying to close up the distance to see if he can get ahead of Peterson on the climb. Peterson still parked, getting some work done to his car. Limburgs trying to give it everything he got to possibly take the lead of the race yet again. Domingo holds on to first to the platinum, has Ryan Gell coming out at him, and Christoph Peterson rolling. Limburg's trying to make his way through. Limburg's getting ahead, but Peterson will be right on the back of him. And Simon Kusat with a drive-through penalty in 12 will be absolutely kicking himself there as the two teammates now look to fight out. We go down to our platinums as Ryan Gell all over the back of Esam Domingo. All the way from South Africa, the Project Vapor driver will battle against the Red Bull Racing Porsche of Ryan Gell as they continue on the drive. Simon Kusat can kiss that sixth in class out of the way with the drive-through penalty serving at the moment, and has been fighting the whole race through. Unfortunately, gone that little bit too far and serving a drive-through penalty that's going to toss him down. Chris Wall, Sebastian Lucas, and Daniel Mutzma, David Roshi, Christian Fingler, all happy to clear on by. Miles Stone as well as Kusat falls out from 15th position down to 20th at the moment. Fingler hangs on to the back of Dave Roschke as they continue the drive through. Roschke really just keeps that Mustang in check. Fingler all over the back of him, looks to try go around the outside. Roschke's going to hold and decides he's going to lift a little bit, allow Christian Fingler to come on by. Interesting tell coming in, and it's probably because he knows who he's racing here, but does get a far better drive out of the chicane versus Christian Fingler, and you can see immediately closed up that gap at a rate of knots. Catching up back to the top end of the order, Ryan Gell and Esam Domingo continue to keep the battle between one another going. Chris Wall and Sebastian Luxon also fighting out for position. No one yielding as Nick Neville is getting a drive through in the last 19 minutes of this race for track limits exceeded. It's coming in thick and fast. We're waiting as quite a few drivers were really testing the limits of the circuit, the limits of the stewards' last nerve on how far they're willing to push it. And well, it looks like they've come out with that big old flip-flop, and they're waiting to hand out all the spankings across to the drivers for those track limits that are getting exceeded. Stephen Malone and James in pit lane, serving his pit stop. Loses out to Diego Matos. Matt Gale will be coming on by and looking to try and get himself a little bit up through the order. Christian Figler, David Roschke, Milestone fight it out amongst each other. Nico Lawrence and Cole Heights as well, who served his drive-through, pushing a little bit more on. Late under the braking zone. First of our Platinums here, as Issam Domingo Rangel looking to continue their fight, and 3 seconds back, bringing himself closer and closer. Paul Fenter looks to stay in the mix. And oh, big moment coming in for David Roschke. Misses out the corner. Milestone, Christian Figler, David Roth come on by. David Roschke, who absolutely landed in the dirt. Didn't have too good of a time there. Let's quickly take an onboard look, as there's Christian Figler to his left-hand side. Late on the brakes, down to third, down to second, down to first. Over the curbing he goes. He was able to get ahead only a fraction, and just absolutely lost the drive into the dirt through the kink. And that unfortunately landed, spinning it down the order to 18th position, with Scott Reynolds going to be closing up the gap onto the back of him. Scott Reynolds going to be thankful for the mistake and continues to push on. Nico Lawrence trying to close up the gap. David Roschke with a drive-through penalty just to add a little bit of pain. Lucas Collab, a terrible drive, loses out to Nico Lawrence, and now Cole Heights immediately looks to try and capitalize at the moment as he comes in for the fight as well. Lucas Collab hoping to just hold on at the moment, down in 9th position. Has got the likes of Nico Lawrence just ahead of him. He's been defending that spot for so long. Cole Heights, last of our top 10, battling to slow the Mustang down behind everyone. See where can he pick up the pace. Chris Wall, Sebastian Luxon, no room between these two. One mistake can land up with two of our Aston Martins looking a little bit second-hand. Chris Wall managing to slow it down on the apex, goes and holds Sebastian Luxon at bay, who just can't figure out the drive. Looks around the outside, hoping to put his nose in, trying to see if he can get it done. Chris Wall, middle of the circuit, defends his line, waits for the cutback, and immediately stands on the throttle, just keeping Sebastian at bay. And these two not backing down. They have got Diego Matos just looking in the background, seeing where the mix is, and Sebastian Luxon looked for the inside line, couldn't quite get the pass on Chris Wall as yet, had to wait out, trapped the anchors pretty hard there, and just not able to bring that car a little bit closer to the sharp end of the field. Ryan Gell all over the back of his Domingo, as they do see Los Pantos Manos, Aston Martin, and Ryan boxed in by the likes of Domingo, and what a clever move to get that done. And my word, folks, we've got a problem. We have got a massive, massive problem. Ernest Limburgs is out of the race. You heard me right. First place in the pro division, gone out of the race, and that is a gut-wrenching blow for Limburgs, because this will be his first time not finishing on the podium this season. Peterson in the clear will be looking to score full points, which will put him back into the lead of the championship with a substantial amount of points to Ernest Limburgs, who unfortunately has disconnected for whatever reason. I hope they can get him sorted back out onto the circuit to try and at least score 5th to keep his foot in the championship. Domingo and Gel fight their way through. Gel gets a good drive on Domingo, but just couldn't clear by, and will now have to wait it out as they are fighting not only for first and second in class, it's second and third overall positioning at the moment. David Roschke can serve his drive-through penalty. Paul Venter 3.4 seconds back. I mean, this has just changed the entire ball game. Oh man, Jingos, I really, really hope that Limburgs can get that car back on the track to at least score something for the championship. A 0 here will be a gut-wrenching blow for him. by not completing the race with 14.5 minutes to go. They need to try and get that Honda back out on circuit as fast as possible. Domingo and Gel continue to brawl it out for the inside line. Domingo walking Gel to the outside. Saying, you're not going to clear me just as yet. Both going and pushing hard. And there comes David Broschke. Sends it in ahead of Ryan Gel, who gets ahead of Domingo. Domingo now looks to try and see where can he clear. Ryan Gel runs out a bit wide, touches the curbing. Gets a little bit unsettled. Domingo immediately comes back in right behind him. And these two go back on the attack as they rejoin the fight for second and third overall standing. And will be really looking to claw their way through, as it does look like the Field of Bones driver of Ernest Lindbergh's is completely out of the car. And it looks like that car, they may have just retired it. Oh man, I really hope not to lose out the points just like that. It's not a grand one. Cole Heinz up into 8th after his drive through. Lucas Colleb lies in 9th. Myers Musa holds on to 10th. Chris Wall and Sebastian Luxon still sharing a bit of paint between the two of them as they continue to fight on. Miles Stone and Christian Fingler not giving each other a break at the moment. Lewis Knight comes into pit lane to repair some damage on his car. Number 6, unfortunately having a bit of a problem. Let's quickly take a look at what happened to Lewis Knight. On the exit, he's got Simon Kursat around the outside. Kursat gets the lunge, gets the pass. Lewis Knight, just has the rear step out, and that's all she wrote for that Lamborghini right in front of Finn Van Hollen, who moves out of the way. And now we'll need to do some repair work on the car. Chris Wall, Sebastian Luxon, side by side as they enter the hairpin. A little bit of an up and under for Sebastian Luxon, but just couldn't get the power underneath him to make it work. Chris Wall, edge to edge at the moment, keeps his pace. Middle of the circuit, a big look on the inside for Luxon. Can he get it to work out in his favor? Wall switch back as he stands on the power. Luxon still keeps his nose firmly locked in for the inside line, heading for turn 1. Whether it's through the marbles or not, he's going to go for it. Launches up on the inside. Chris Wall trying to see if he can hang it around as they battle on. It is going to be Luxon stepping ahead of Wall as they continue on their drive. Hey, what a race and what a bit of turmoil coming in. So, Peterson, Heinz, and Musa hold on to the top 3 for our Diamond Division. Ryan Gel, Domingo, and Paul Fenter currently hold on for first, second, and third of the running order of our Platinum. Arul Jar, Finley Gamble, and Christian Fengler hold on to third place for our Gold Division here tonight. The big talking point is the likes of Ernest Lindbergh's unfortunately out of the race for some sort of disconnect, and that has taken him clean out of it. Unfortunately also taking him right down the championship as well. He will not be maximizing any points for a DNF and having to use his he's going to have to use his drop route so early on. Paul Fenter, quick flash of lights as he clears on by. Likes of Stephen Milano, James. Oh, sorry, that wasn't Stephen Milano. James, that might have been Nick Neville. It was David Young who throws himself into the dirt as David Roschke and Christoph Wolotsky come on by. Actually missed out his brake marker, and that's all she wrote. Here comes Ulrich Diaga to come on by. Says thank you very much. Aaron Schurgel looking to come through as well from Cyber Racing Team, as he will be looking to see how he can clear. So our race continuing, 10 minutes to go. Battles out on circuit. Nico Lawrence, Cole Heinz, Lucas Collin continue to be around one another. Sebastian Luxon losing a bit of pace through the chicane. Chris Wall 1.6 seconds back, trying to claw any way through. Miles Stone, Christian Fingler trying to keep themselves going as they get past Diego Matos, who is a lap down. Dave Groth will be the next one to try and clear as well as they boot their way across the line. Ronald Priggs, who was leading out the Gold Division, unfortunately The undercut not working out, and huge air time, might I add, coming in for Ronald Briggs. That Honda got some serious air and was able to get a serious jump. Nick Neville of Beanmobile Racing now onto the back of David Young as they fight out for position. Nick, unfortunately, wasn't close enough for that inside line. Carries the momentum through as David Young now trying to open up full taps. He's got Finley Gamble ahead of him to see if he can try make it work out in his favor. It's going to be a late lunch needing to be done to make it work out. Rulja holds on to first. Finley Gamble holds on to second as he's got a fighting duo behind him. He's got to keep his wits about him just in case of any late braking maneuvers. Cole Heinz getting ahead of Nico Lawrence on the way through. Cole Heinz gaining yet another position overall, trying to close the distance to Christoph Peterson with 8 minutes to go. Let's quickly take a look at who gained the most and who lost the most of our current running cars that are out on circuit. The one that's lost the most is actually Ronald Briggs, losing 10 positions from the start of the race. Second of him is going to be the likes of David Broschke with 9. Diego Matos on 8 positions lost. But a good one to tell is about most positions gained. Simon Kusat, 13 positions, tied with David Ross, 13 positions, but that's going to be a loss because he's going to drive through penalty to serve for track limits exceeded. And Daniel Mutsuma with 13 positions gained. Sebastian Luxon up 11 positions from where he started. But man, oh man, big talking point coming in for David Roth, who was on a stellar drive. Now serving his drive through will lose out skirt run on Simon Kusat, David Walsh and Aaron Shergill as well will be going and smiling as they get a chance to close up the distance between them. Ryan Gell, 16 seconds behind Christoph Peterson, continues on the run. And Finley Gamble, our second place car, into the dirt. Finley Gamble into the dirt and trying to get himself going. Where is Christian Fingler? Too far to capitalize on it. But Finley Gamble landing up with a mistake. Loses out to Cole Heinz, Nico Lawrence, Lucas Colab, and Mahath Musa as they cleared on by. But that's a real jar. Now with no one to deal with in his class, he's got enough room to play and enough room to keep up the charge. And the 755 car landing up with a problem again. That's Diego Matos into the dirt, trying to turn himself around after getting launched into the air, and then unfortunately has spat it back through the order. So not quite what he wanted to have, and will be kicking himself a little bit there. The 48 car. Let's quickly take a look what happened to him as he was trying to make his way through. This is on our helicab from Tim up in the helicopter. Late braking, turns it in. Oh, heavy bounce, big bounce, and that was all she wrote for that Ferrari as it kicked over. And unfortunately, loss of position of note for the driver. Chris Wall and Daniel Mutsuma fighting out for 12th and 13th overall, with Daniel keeping the pressure on Chris Wall as much as possible as they continue on the drive. Seeing how it's going to go. 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in this race, and we are seeing championships unfold, change, and start becoming a little bit more on the interesting side of things, because going into this round for our Diamond Division was a single point between first and second. That's going to be stretched as Christoph Peterson has going to be taking maximum points here, and all he needs is the fastest lap time of the race to take it away from the likes of Ernest Lindbergh's, and that will mean he will cinch in a full score of points, a full house of points here at Zolder for round 4 to extend some lead into the championship heading into round 5. Aaron fighting out against Nick Neville as they continue to keep themselves busy, but Paul Venter 1.8 seconds behind SM Domingo. Make that a lot more as Domingo gets it wrong through the corners. Loss of drive. Paul Venter says thank you. Lines up side by side, and both of them elbow to elbow. Oh, both South Africans into the dirt. Domingo and Venter going and bumping and barging and bumping and barging. Oh my heavens. And I know the discussions there is who's got the pipe, and unfortunately it's going to be a hose pipe for both drivers as Fenta goes door to door, knock to knock, Domingo knock to knock. Domingo's got a drive-through penalty to serve with that as well. And I've got a funny feeling both drivers kind of gave each other a bit of gears there. Domingo into the pits, not going to be happy on that one. Fenta definitely going to be having a bit of a grumble underneath his helmet. Does take over second place. Domingo getting absolutely knocked, not only with the argy-bargy moments, but now is going to be slipping possibly out of third place as Rule John comes on by. There is Cole Heinz, and right behind them, Nico Lawrence of the Track Tool team. Will see that Issam Domingo is in the pits. Lucas Collab will see that he's in the pits, and both will be getting past. It is a big change up. We've now got Ryan Gell, Paul Fenta, and Nico Lawrence hold on to the top three. And here comes Lucas Collab. He sees an opportunity for a podium here, gets himself into third. Mahayath Musa, who is right behind, gives on the chase. David Roth catches the wall as he tries to get himself going after a spin. Lawrence needs to keep the hammer down. He needs to clear the likes of Lucas Collab. He does bounce over the curb. He loses out the drive. Collab allows Musa to come on by. 2 minutes and 43 seconds remain. Domingo is right at the back of these bunch, 7 seconds away from Nico Lawrence, and he is going to be willing for Nico Lawrence and Collab to just catch each other. Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be properly close for our Platinums, and it's going down to teammates in endurance racing, bitter rivals in sprint racing. The ERA racing team against the Track Tool team push that little bit further as Nico Lawrence, Lucas Collab battle on for third, the final step of the podium in our Platinum with 1:55 to go. It is all on the cards. Musa is just clearing past these guys. He doesn't want to hang around as he sees Cole Heinz ahead of him as they are currently fighting out for second and third of our Diamond Division, with Musa wanting that second place on the cards for him. For Collab, what a victory this could be to get in on the podium after spending majority of these races from round 1 to round 3 in the wall, losing time. Nico Lawrence is looking to try and make up, as this would be one of his far better results that he's had all season long after catching his teammate last weekend. I mean, this is just turning into a race of note. Peterson, on the other hand, all by himself. Ryan Gell trying to clear past a couple of the back markers. Does see Lewis Knight get right back to him? Ryan Gell outbraking himself. Loses out that little bit of momentum. Paul Fenta 10 seconds back. Rule Gel currently leads out our gold division with Finley Gamble and Christian Fingler holding on second and third. Cole Heinz losing out some momentum to Mahayath Musa. Lucas Collab watching his mirrors at the moment as Nico Lawrence keeps on going. Will be applying the pressure every step of the way. Chris Wall and Miles Stone, they are also trading blows with one another a little bit further down the field. We try to keep an eye on the battles that are for position here, folks. And this is for third in class. Third of our Platinums. Collab and Lawrence fight their way through. 10 seconds to go. Peterson can make his way through. We'll give them one more lap at this point, as it's 2-1. And Christoph Peterson takes the checkered flag, so he will not give him an extra lap. Ryan Gell will take second. Third place will go to Paul Fenta. Rule Joel will take fourth. Cole Heinz in fifth. Sixth place is Mahayath Musa. But Lucas Collab, Nico Lawrence fight their way through, giving it everything they can. And Nick on the back of them is just trying to enjoy the battle. Nick Neville sees the fight ahead, doesn't want to get too involved in it, wishes to try and keep the drive. Chris Wall and Daniel Mutsuma, but it is Peterson with the victory. Ryan Gell with a victory in the Platinum with Paul Fenter, second in Platinum. And third, going to Lucas Collab, if he can hold ahead of Nico Lawrence under braking, 1 corner to go, and he's broken the streak. Lucas Collab, from the back of the pack in the last 3 rounds, puts himself on the final stop of the podium with Nico Lawrence all over the back of him by 0.8 of a second. Arul Jar gets the victory in the goal with Finley Gamble taking second place, and Christian Fingler takes on third in class. What a drive! Carl Heitz will take second in our diamond ahead of Mahath Musa in third. What a race, folks. What a race. And what a turn of events. A disconnect coming in from Ernest Lindbergh's changes the entire complexity of our championship in the Diamond Division. Ryan putting an absolute dominating run. Paul Fenter takes up that third place overall, second in class after a brawl with Issam Domingo. And the two of them will be sharing words, that's for certain, after, well, Domingo, a drive-through penalty, and it was elbow to elbow, knees and toes, both South Africans deciding to go play by the beachside here at Zolder. But man, oh man, what a race it has been. And we can't wait to try and have a chat to the drivers after such an incredible race nonetheless. And wow, oh wow. My heavens. Peterson taking the victory in our Diamond Division. Finishes up with Carl Heinz in second place for the Cyber Racing team. Mahath Musa, Project Vapor, holds on to third place, 1 second back in our Diamond. For our Platinum, Ryan Gell, Paul Fenter, and then goes in for Lucas Collab to take a third place spot ahead of Nico Lawrence. Not an easy time out there to keep that going. Arul Jar takes a victory here tonight for our Gold Division. And we got a couple of drivers coming in. Third place overall, second place in the Platinum. Let's have a chat to Paul the Wall Fenter from Logistical Nightmare Racing. Let's come and have a chat to us. Paul, welcome to the commentary box. What a race out there. And in the last 5 minutes, having a fight with Issam Domingo, who you were slowly closing up to, and it looks like both of you landed up giving each other the hose pipe before both visiting the dirt. Unfortunately, Issam Domingo getting a drive-through penalty, but you working out with a second place in the Platinum class. How are you feeling after that?
Oh, firstly, I got to breathe. Yeah, that was not part of my plan, but yeah, great race. Had fun. As you know, my favorite track this, so just enjoyed that thoroughly. Yeah, the last 5 minutes almost gave me a heart attack. Have to recheck the replay. I'm not really sure what Sham did there. Looks like he tapped me and then ran into the back of me, and then yeah, there was quite a few love taps. So yeah, not really sure what that was, but good entertainment. Unfortunately, got a drive through, but yeah, survived. P3 and a P2, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, happy days. Time for tequila shots, I guess.
That's it, having a stellar run. Now, take us through the race. A 1 hour race here at Zolder, different classes, different ideas, different strategies. What was yours going into this race?
Yeah, mine was just survive lap 1. Very important here, and try not get any track cuts unnecessarily. So yeah, and then just keep the nose clean and try to just be as consistent as can be, and not die at that first chicane when you hop the curb. Yeah, and then as the race unfolded, I just saw guys falling away and moving up, and the consistency was seemingly decent. And in the end there, coming out the pits, I was like top 5. I'm like, wow, that's a very nice surprise. So yeah, no, that was good fun.
Absolutely wonderful racing. That being said, before I let you go to enjoy the celebration, coming third overall and coming second in class, anything you want to say to all the drivers out there, all the teams out there, to all our partners here at ERA, and to the admins, but most importantly, the absolute petrol heads that were cheering on. I think you saw everyone rush to the fences in the last 5 minutes of the race as you were in the fight with this Domingo.
Just thanks to ERA as always. Great community, great racing, reasonably clean racing from what I could see. So yeah, and then thanks to everyone that does their donations to have the seasons hosted. So if you haven't done your donation, go and do your donation. And as always, thanks to everyone for watching because we do this for fun. So if you watch it, we enjoy it. Awesome. Thanks, man.
Absolutely, and please make sure to share the stuff as well as we're on the road to our 500 subscriber mark here on the ERA channel. Paul the Wolf Enter, logistical nightmare, taking second place in class. Congratulations on an absolute great one. And let's bring in our first in the platinum class and managed to start second on the front row. Ryan Gel, welcome to the commentary box yet again. A solid effort, a dominating effort, but also for a second week in a row, starting out on the front row. How are you feeling after your qualifying for one that was absolutely blistering out there?
It was a good qualifying. I think I had a little bit more in it. I messed up my last sector, but for I'm happy with the plat pole. Good starting position. Had some diamonds in between me and Domingo, so that was good.
Well, that's the thing. There was a good little bit of time between you guys. Taking a look at the race, what was your game plan? We started seeing various drivers going for undercuts, others going for a bit of an overcut. What was your plan going into this race, considering you were starting out on the front row?
Yeah, initially I wanted to go as long as possible on my used tires, but I was really struggling towards the end of my stint, so I ended up pitting in the middle. So it wasn't really an overcut or undercut. And the plan was just to try to make a big as possible gap to Domingo because he was really fast and I had to outdrive a penalty. And for the rest, try to stay alive. It's a tough track, so consistency was really the key. And
And last but not least, fighting through the traffic, because we saw you coming up to some massive fights, and I'm talking about 2-3 cars trying to aim for the same piece of tarmac and you having to navigate that as well. What was the game plan of trying to work your way through the traffic that's already having a fight with one another and not really keeping an eye on the mirrors for any blue flags that are around?
Yeah, I have to say I was really happy with the. They did a pretty good job in letting me go. I didn't really have to, fight them or something. So it was a tough challenge though, but it worked out well.
Oh, absolutely great stuff. Before I let you go to enjoy the celebration, taking a victory in the Platinum class, second overall here at Zolder for round 4 of the ERA Sunday Championship. Is there anything you want to say to the drivers, to the teams, to our amazing admin, and to our epic petrol heads that have been following us for 4 rounds this far, going to be following us right through to the end of 2025?
Yes, obviously I appreciate everyone working on the server. It's an amazing community. And everyone just keep practicing, keep pushing, and see you next week or in 2 weeks in Kyalami.
Absolutely great stuff, Ryan Gel.
Thank you,
doing a stellar run, getting a victory in the Platinum division. And honestly, I cannot stress it enough how quick Ryan is on his drive. That being said, let's bring in our first place overall. And at one point was stressing, came in 1 point under his own teammate. And then let's have a chat to Christoph Peterson. Christoph, welcome to the commentary box. What a race out there, because it looked like in the last 20 minutes of the race, Lady Luck smiled on thee.
It's difficult to be happy about this. Like Limburg's was above everyone else today and lost through a disconnect. It's just like it doesn't feel like a win to me at all. I haven't been really on at my best the whole week at this track, and today was even worse. Like I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just from not sleeping enough or whatever, but I couldn't reach my practice times at all. Not even, I went for a strategy where I would have been a little bit faster in the second stint from low fuel and new tires, but even that didn't really work. So yeah, it's I'm a bit I don't know. I shouldn't be P1, that's for sure.
Well, we do know that mechanical things do happen and drivers sometimes don't see the end. However, it does work in the favor of a drop round that he has to utilize here tonight, where you get to carry that drop down a little bit further into the championship. So it's not championships done set match, but the question is, how are you feeling heading into round 5, knowing that this week just wasn't your week for the ERA round 4, but you've got to keep your eyes set for round 5?
Yeah, I mean, Kyalami is one of my best tracks and probably my favorite track in the game. So I'm gonna be enjoying practicing a lot more for that one. But unfortunately now I have 15 seconds, so this is gonna be very, very hard. But Kyalami has like 1 or 2 overtaking opportunities. The Honda is not too bad on the main straight, like not one of the fastest cars, of course, but it's possible to overtake. So I'm looking forward to it. Like, and I know Ernest is gonna come back and is also gonna work even harder because he knows he's going into Kyalami without any penalty. Can't afford another drop round, so I think he's gonna be on it.
It's going to be a tough fight, and I understand the feeling of just wanting to earn the position, not always lack it, to go and see a car stopped out on the circuit, knowing that's pretty much a race. But that being said, you did take the victory here tonight at round 4 here at Zolder for ERA Sunday Championship for our Diamond Division. Anything you want to say to all the admin, to the teams, the drivers out there, to your teammate, who I'm sure needs a proper hug right now, and most importantly, our amazing petrol heads out there in the virtual grandstands, that they will be even reaching out to give him a hug?
Yeah, like for sure, Ernest, come back stronger. I know you can do it. And otherwise, I have to say congrats to Paul Venter, because I've seen he got onto the overall podium today, which is a really strong result after he has had a lot of stuff to deal with in real life and a lot of missed a lot of races and is not really ACC not being his main sim at the moment. Like, really cool result. And also congrats to Musa for being on the diamond podium, even though it might not feel like that to him. But there were a lot of platinums and golds in the top 10 today. Also congrats to them, of course. Like, really great to manage that. And yeah, one thing, next race, I've gotten the message that there might be a new very, very fast diamond contender, so we can be excited about it. Maybe the fight at the top gets even more competitive.
Ooh, is there any hint that we can get, just as a possibility of who this mystery driver will be, or is it we have to find out?
I've raced him, or I'm currently racing him in another league. It's not Raceface, it's the other one I'm doing. And he has been faster than me there, so we'll see. It's another British guy. We have a lot of them already.
I'm guessing
So
he's a big fan
I'm not going to say his
of
name yet.
hitting his apex.
In the end, he won't show up or something. So. Sorry?
I'm guessing he's a big fan of hitting his apexes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
He's doing it online too.
All right, so there we go, guys. There is the hint. British and loves going and, well, aiming for the apexes. There's the hint. Otherwise, got to find out next week. We're looking forward to that. And congratulations once again on the victory, Christoph, on a stellar run.
Thank you. See you.
Wow. Great bit of information there and some great talking points as we bring up our third place driver in the gold. And it's been a long time coming. Christian Fingler, welcome to the top. And well done on a third place. It wasn't an easy one for you because we saw you having a fight every which way possible. And turn 2, turn 3, always stuck on the outside in the marbles and finding some grip with that BMW.
Yeah, well, really, I do want to take this chance to really just push a big thank you out to all the Server 1 drivers. I would have not thought that we can experience Zolder so generally clean. I've not witnessed major missteps. Like, obviously, you can't avoid some contacts at points, but I have had so much racing action on Zolder, which would not appear in my wildest dreams. It was phenomenal. It was so much sweat, your heart beating out of your chest when you were following so close and being chased at the same time. It was mental. A big props really to Hater, who I was, I think, like side by side for a bunch of times or for probably what was like 3 or 4 laps. Absolute stellar performance.
I mean, take us through. You were not just in a 2-car battle. You were fighting it out 3, 4, 5 cars every which way possible, where it was everyone aiming for the same piece of tarmac, everyone pushing, everyone seemingly on the same pit stop strategy as well. How was it out there just being in a mob, is the only way I could describe it. Just a mob of cars going and fighting for the top spot. And especially you fighting out for third in the gold. You landed up fighting for second at a point. You had the diamonds and the platinums throwing their hat into the ring as well. It just looked like madness to hold on to any position.
Yes, that was the case. And as I said, like, stress levels were through the roof. And most of the time there was quite a piece. Someone, I would say, like 3 or 5 minutes past my pit stop, so probably in the minute 20 to minute 5 left of the race. That quieted down a little bit for me personally. I know that a bunch of fights have been still going on at the time, but I think that the biggest difference, or what really made it so special and working at the end this time, is that you could tell that the amount of respect has spiked within all the drivers. There was no, like senseless defending. There was no over aggressiveness. There was tries, and if they were legitimate, they were like, I wouldn't say woven through, because you still had to get to this point, so it would still work. But people were usually like, okay, now you've got the overlap quite significantly. We're coming up to the corner. I'm just going to brake a bit earlier. Have the corner, and then we should be good. Same goes, obviously, vice versa. So many times I was like, let's not kill us both. Let's just, you've got the overlap, take the corner. And that worked out beautifully. I'm really happy for what the drivers have performed here tonight. It was just nothing short of a miracle. We were prepared for something so horrendous, and it turned out to be like a post-kart race, like the absolute display of racecraft in the end.
Well, to give you an idea, lap 1, which is usually where we all tend to worry about big accidents, there was only 6 cars that shared paint in lap 1. That was it. There was no hits. There was no off tracks. It was just a share of paint between drivers. And as you said, just the driving standard tonight was absolutely through the roof. And as we take a look at some of the highlights of the racing action, we could see how close each of the fights are as well. But Christian, some great racing out there. I know that you're going to be going back to the track, to the team, have a discussion with them. I will think one of the drivers who's a little bit frustrated, falling out of third place in the Platinum, is going to be Nico Lawrence after fighting 0.8 of a second with Lucas Collab towards the end. But anything you want to say to the admin team? I know that you mentioned the drivers and the teams all with all the great work, but also to those amazing petrol heads joining up with us here tonight as we on our road to 500 subscribers out on YouTube and just following the rest of the championship for 2025.
Just a big thank you. Like, recently the support has once again massively picked up in driver involvement with us. The Discord is super active. And it just feels nice to be around. And it's something that I absolutely cherish. And towards my own team, Nico, heads up. You do an amazing race, and the losing the fight due to your back mark is something that is super frustrating, but it is part of racing. And go get him next time. At least he doesn't start with a penalty.
That's it. He has every chance to move forward and keep going, but great to have it. And Christian Fingler, thank you so much for all the hard work you do in the background as well with your team on just keeping us going. And as we charge on, 336 subscribers at current. By the end of the year, we're aiming for 500. And only you guys can make it happen. So please do hit that subscribe button, share it with everyone, and be a part of this amazing show. If you want to join in with all the ERA action as well, please come to our Discord. There's lots and lots going on. Lots of teaching sessions. So whether you're new or if you're more experienced, there's plenty to learn and share that knowledge around in our Discord. Lots of fun races as well. I know, Christian, you've been planning a lot of interesting races for the end of this year as to get us all ready for 2026. I know there's some fun racing, some academy racing, and so much more coming down the pipeline as well. Anything you can emphasize to everyone cheering out and watching and having an interest to join in the fun?
Yeah, just don't hesitate. I know that the sign-up process sometimes seems a bit weird, but the community is super active. So whenever you get stuck or you're just looking out to, get some help, just pop by, drop it into the general chat, and we'll be there to help you. Same goes obviously for the season break. So if you're still not quite sure if you're going to make it within the next few months, don't worry. We're going to end this season fairly early in, I think, like the second week of December. And then we obviously going to have some in store for you over the Christmas holidays where we're going to do nice arrive and drive races in different cup categories. So stay tuned for that and just, pop by, say hello. We're really a friendly bunch.
Absolutely. Christian doesn't bite much, only when you start going and giving him a chocolate milkshake. Christian, thank you so much for joining us and have a phenomenal time. And wow, oh wow, folks, that has been our server one. Some exciting racing up and down through the field. Our championships are all going absolutely wild as we look on to round 5 and we look and say farewell to Zolder, which has gone and taken our racing through the roof. But next up, we're going to be heading over on the 23rd of November to round 5 at Kyalami. And it's proving to be a little bit chilly around that time. So bring your winter coats, as it is going to be a very, very cold time out in South Africa on the 23rd of November, 9 o'clock SAS time. And then for the British time, we'll be starting off at 7 o'clock. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and leave a like as well. Share it out with all the friends and family out there. Get everyone seeing all the action here at ERA. Come and join us. And the links are all down at the bottom. We've also got endurance racing coming up. 8 hours of Kyalami on the 22nd of November. And entries are still open. So if you want to try your hand of 8 hours at Kyalami with your mates here in ERA, we've got it for you. Link for our sim grid is in the description as well. Go sign up with your friends, teams, and let's see who can go and take it to the top. Will it be our SA drivers? Will it be UK? Will it be Germany? We will only find out on the 22nd of November, our round 5 on the 23rd of November. And that will be our incredible, incredible action. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from myself, from THC Productions, Stephen Kurdick, and our cameraman, Tim, the cameraman. Well done, Tim. You're looking absolutely fantastic today. To Jim, who has been out on the flags, keeping us going. Big shout out to him. And we'll thank all our admin and stewards for all the hard work they do here at ERA. We'll see you next time, right here on ERA for our Sunday Championship. And like always, from around the world, say it with me. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.